It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous and not so famous, the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Matthew Bennett Young. Hello, Matthew. How are you?
Hi, Douglas. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So on your bio, it says you're a British author, and you've published many picture books, flash fiction, short stories, and poetry. The one that we were sent by your PR people is called Maybe Colors.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this is a children's book?
Well, Douglas, there is something I'd like to clarify, really. I think most people, their perception of a book with pictures in is a children's book, but actually, whilst I'm interested in having children as an audience, I write and produce my picture books for anybody from the age of 6 and upwards, really. So what I'm interested in is engaging with children, adults and children, potentially, but they're for adults too. I don't see why you wouldn't be interested in a beautiful marriage of literature and art in that particular format, and I certainly am. So, yeah, you can call them children's books, but I refer to them as picture books, actually.
Okay. Well, maybe you can explain a little bit of what the book looks like. I don't have it in front of me, and since we're on audio, people can't see it, so you'll have to explain. It's well, go ahead. You explain what the book looks like and what the content is.
So I could perhaps talk about the content first. It's actually a fairly repetitive poetic text, and that's there's great purpose in that, really. I think the concept for me came from an understanding of basically my relationship with my first son, and I've dedicated the book to him, whereby often I would jump to conclusions about certain things that he might say to me, and realized afterwards that maybe there was there you go, I'm using this word maybe, and the book's called Maybe Colors, that there was an alternative meaning to what he might have been trying to communicate with me, and I became almost obsessed with that was a very important thing to understand in terms of developing a positive relationship, and not jumping to conclusions or making assumptions about what somebody might mean, thinking a bit more deeply about alternatives, and that's the very important part of or the reason why I wrote that book. So I used the theme of colors because that's I think probably universally agreed that that's one of the most important early experiences of children, and the idea is that reading the book together, children might then be tempted to talk about their own experience of various colors, and that's really what the book is intended to do. So it's a simple poetic text, and easy to read, enjoyable and fun in various places. Has emotional connotations as well, and I hope that explains a little bit about my intentions with the book, Douglas. I was very nervous when I first produced the book, and the first person to read I read it with was with my son and his friend, actually, who was over for they were just having a play date, and my son was 6 or 7 at the time. And they were both very contemplative when we were reading it together. And then when we finished the book, they immediately began, relating their experiences of various colors. So it worked perfectly in the way that I had hoped, but didn't. I was kind of afraid to anticipate, but it works very well.
You mentioned your son, and you mentioned something about him saying something that you might misinterpret. Can you give an example of that and how it relates to the book?
I think it's such a long time ago he was at that age, but if you were to ask your child something and they explained that they may, I could just say anything really. If they, if you asked them where did they put, where did you put the knife for the butter or something like that, and he might say, well, I haven't used that knife today, and you might say, well, I'm pretty sure it was you that used it. You sort of immediately assume that you might know better as an adult, or know what the truth might be, and you can certainly misinterpret, especially when dealing with children or communicating with children. There's an obvious power dynamic, and I think as parents and adults we need to be very wary of that. So the book is purposely and strategically set up to use this word maybe, and so the word maybe is repeated on every page, and my intention with that is to just try and get any reader to really think about that word as a tool which allows you, it's entirely functional, and it allows you to think in a different direction, not the obvious direction that might be right in front of you, but to allow for other possibilities, so that you can, and it encourages an attitude of an understanding and an empathy with what might be alternative meanings in our communication. So, in other words, we're not so reactive, and that's what I really hope the reader can take away on a deeper level with this pretty simple approach, though.
Okay, so you said the context of the book is poetry. So it's
yes, it's very much a poetic text, very simple. It uses a lot of simile, alliteration. It's easy to follow, and essentially a very quick read. And I'm hoping that people can identify with the various moods and tones for each color throughout the book. Yeah.
Okay. And the illustrations are abstract?
Yes, they are in a sense. I guess the best way to describe them. Yeah.
Okay. Without having seen them, I really can't make a definitive statement about them. I'm just trying to get an idea in my head of what this book looks like.
Douglas, the book is available on Amazon. I think, and one of the great features of Amazon is that they have this look inside section, so you can click on it. So if you're interested, you can actually go, I think, 4 or 5 pages into the book. As an author on using this service, the Amazon service, you can choose. You can determine how much of the book you want to share in advance before people commit to buying it. So with mine, I did the maximum, which is I think 30 or 40%. So you can actually get a good understanding of what the illustrations are and what the book is the format of the book and the context and everything. So I hope that works.
Okay.
In that sense, yeah.
Let me ask you something about yourself. Now, it says on your bio that you're British and you're currently in Britain because we just called your number. But it says that you reside in Montreal. So are you just over to the UK for holiday, or?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I'm a much anticipated holiday, I'm sure. I mean, the airports are just absolutely crazy. They're packed with people desperate to
forget about COVID.
Yes, absolutely. And but I've been planning to see people over here for some time as well. So I think it's high time I came to the UK.
Okay. Well, what do you do while you're in Montreal? Are you a full-time writer, or do you have other things you do?
No, I'm writing is my producing picture books especially is my big passion. But I'm also a research coordinator at McGill part-time, and I'm very busy as a father as well. So I have quite a lot on my plate. I'm sure you understand.
Okay. The book Maybe Colors, is this a one-off or is this a series?
That's a good question, actually. I'm glad you asked it, because I'm actually working on another colors book, but you wouldn't call it a sequel. I think the short answer to that, Douglas, is it's not a series. It's not intended to be a series, but I find working with color as a theme fascinating. So without giving away too much, because this next book is actually in production at the moment. I'm working with an illustrator in Montreal on this one. The book is called What's Your Favorite Color? And of course that's one of the most popular questions that children ask each other, and I'm sure you'll recognize that you've heard it now that I've said that it's a common question, in school and at a certain age. But this takes that question and really there's a surprising sort of twist, which it's one of the reasons I think writers enjoy writing is surprising the reader and surprising yourself in the way that you write it and explore the initial concept. So I'm very excited about that, and it's a equally powerful message for me. I think it's all about the power of cooperation and collaboration. So I hope that works as well as the first one.
Okay. Well, Matthew, I think we've got to wind this down. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have a website you want to give out?
I do have a website. It's www.onewildword.org. So there's a lot of stuff on there that I've done, and there'll be a lot of new stuff coming fairly soon, Douglas. So www.onewildword. It's really the name of the site is really just a celebration of how you can, with just one word, you can explore and generate such interesting concepts. So, in other words, you just perhaps only need one word to go on a journey, to start your journey, put it that way. So that was the thinking behind the name of the website. But
okay.
Yeah.
And there's links.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. There's links to purchase this book, Maybe Colors, from the website?
Not directly on the website, but they're all available on Amazon and other platforms online as e-books as well at the moment. So,
okay. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you, nice talking to you, and best of luck with all of your books and everything you're doing.
Well, thank you so much yourself, Douglas, and very enjoyable to talk to you. Thank you for your time.